Good morning, crafty friends. This is Maria over at She's a Creative Girl. Today, I'm going to be working on a few cards, and I thought I'd go ahead and share the process. So let me show you what I found. I'm, of course, inspired by Pinterest. I have 3 of them that I'm working on. Let's see what I did here. Okay, so this one was the first one that I did. This one, I don't know if she's actually the one who did it. Something sparkles on there. I can't remember. I can't see the name, but it's let me see if I can find it. Something sparkles. I gotta give her the credit. Okay, the other one I'm making is this one. I fell in love with that card a long time ago. This one's by Kitten Clouder. And then this one by Wendy Ramlakan. So I think I showed you, yes, I did show you a video of where I was coloring these on my iPad because I have to make so many that I didn't want to Copic color every single one of them. So I colored them on my iPad and the results were stunning. So let me show you the first one. This is the first one. This one I did color with my Copics, but let me show you what I did. So she made her background a little bit different, but I went ahead and made mine an easel card. So I cut this piece out on my silhouette. I just used like a medallion frame or something, and that way I don't have to make it a card. I can just pop it down like this and it'll just stand up on its own. But that's this one. So you got the base back here. You've got some paper. I made a little Halloween bingo card. I put like a little piece of doily back there. I have a little fence over here. All of this I cut on my silhouette. And I did raise her up with some foam tape with some lace back here. That's that one. But unfortunately, I can't show you how I did it because I've already done it. Let me see if I can give you an idea. I don't even know I have it. No, I do not have that one. Okay. All right. So the other one I made was this one. I colored her with my Copic palette on my iPad. I love the way she came out. The colors are gorgeous. And I printed this one on laser printer. But super easy. I did kind of change things up, of course. So I got the little inside. I got some leftovers that my friend gave me from a little kit that she had, and I thought the words or sentiments were fitting for this card. I made it on craft cardstock, and this one I'm going to go ahead and put together today, so you can kind of craft along with me. If you find something similar in your stash, you can follow along with me. And then the last one I'm going to make also. I haven't finished it yet, but I'll start off with that one today. That one's super cute. All right, so I just made a card base. This is my card base. I think it's 5.5 by 5.5. This is going to be my mat. I have a digital that I purchased from Etsy, and this is going to be my background mat. It's a Shabby background. It's really cool. It's got several other papers with it, of course. So my plan is to do a little bit of mixed media on this one. And that's why I thought I'd go ahead and film the process. This is going to be the first mat. This is going to be the second one, but I want to add some white splatters or some stamping or something on that to create a cool background. And then she's going to go in here, and I'm going to darken the edges and rat it up a little bit. And I'm going to put this doily back here somewhere. I cut this out of regular paper. It's that paper that I use for digital prints. It's like a 32-pound weight, and it's coated, so it feels a little stronger than a regular doily that would tear apart. Okay, so I do plan to put a piece of lace like between here, a piece of black lace. And then I'm going to probably stick a tag on the side this way. So I'll leave one of these open a little bit. And I'm going to be making my own little flowers to put little flowers on that. And then I'm going to tie a ribbon around the little black hole there. Black hole, little hole in the tag. And then I'm going to tie these straws here and put it here. I want to add some, I think she has some black tulle back here. She added pearls on hers, but I'm not going to go that crazy. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to film this process. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with my inking. Let me save this up there so I don't dirty it. I'm going to do this on my glass mat so I can just wipe it off. So let me go ahead and get started with that. I'm going to wrap this, ink it, and then wrap that and ink it. Okay, so I'm going to be using, to start off, I'm going to be using my Hickory Smoke and Black Soot Distress Inks. Now I've got these little blenders. They're like daubers. I thought they were like regular daubers when I bought them, but they're not. They have the bristles like a blending brush, and I got these on Amazon. So I'm gonna go ahead and use the black one. So you see, they've got the bristles just like a blending brush. All right, so I'm gonna start off with her first. I'm gonna go ahead and I do need a piece of paper. Make sure I don't get this too dark. Get something out of the trash. Just gonna start off at the edge and go forward. I'm going to fast forward this process. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and distress the edges here. And then I'm going to use my frontage. I don't know if you all have any of this, but this is really hard to find nowadays. This is from Stampendous. It's called Frontage, and it's a shabby white embossing enamel. I love that. So, I'm not talking to you, Siri. I'm just going to take a little bit of this and just kind of sprinkle it on the edges. And then I'm going to heat it from the bottom. Challenge is for it not to come all apart. Not all apart, but spray everywhere and get on my floor. Look at that yummy goodness. So this has got white and gold flakes in here. Let's see, get a little bit down here. I may even use some of this for that black. Kind of give it that little stark white edges to it. Let me do this part off camera. Okay, she did warp a little bit, so I'm just going to add some heat to the back and flatten that out. And in the alternative, you can also just put a heavy book on top of it. And I'll do that now. And I will work on this piece here. All right, so I'm gonna make sure that this is gonna match my card base, because I think I cut it just about where you can see a 1/16 of an inch around the edges, which is perfect. I'm just gonna darken the edges with some black soot. I'll do this off camera. Okay, so there it is, all inked up. Now these images that I got there by Krista Smith, I was on her Patreon, and she ended up closing that too. I know she went by Saturated Canary before. She used to make the rubber stamps and everything, but I fell in love with her images, and I was lucky enough to get all of them before she closed up again. So I don't know, sometimes she makes a drawing. I know she loves to draw, but she's also a school teacher, and just seems to be having a very busy life. But she loves to draw, I'm sure, and she will post her a picture every now and then, an image that she drew on Etsy. But I was able to get all of them that she ever did. She sold them on a USB or it was a digital file, but every single one of them that she's ever done was on there. And I was just happy to have that, even though it was some of them I had already bought. And just the fact that they were all in one place, that was cool. Okay, so I got that done. The next thing I want to do is see if I can do some stamping on this card here. Do some mixed media. I might even paint the edges white because I don't have a white core on this paper, and I do want it to look shabby. So I'm also going to ink up this one while I'm at it. Let me go ahead and use some black soot for this one. Just give it a little bit of grungy. All right, so let me play with the background on this black piece here. And let me see what I can come up with. So I'm gonna have to go digging for stamps. I did go to a retreat this last weekend. I did manage to get all my stamps semi-organized, but at least now I can find them. So let me go find a stamp for some backgrounds. All right, y'all, so while my black background is drying, I'm going to make a few flowers. I'm going to keep her here for reference, but I think I want to darken up the little tiny flowers. I'm going to be using my Spellbinders flower making kit. This is that Susan Tierney Cockburn kit. I love that I found all my flower making tools in one little place. And I didn't have to be digging for a stylus. It's over here, foam pads over there, and it came in a little pouch with everything I needed. I'm going to go ahead and add just a teeny stylus piece to this. All right, so what I'm thinking is, I want to make the flowers, they're going to be red. I'm going to try this candy apple first and just kind of deepen the red in the actual flower. I don't think you can see it very much with the candy apple red. Nah. So I think I'm going to go with the Asian mahogany. Kind of gives it that grungy. That's kind of in her outfit. Just a little bit. Yep, that's what I'm looking for. Just a little bit of darkness in the tips. And I'm going to do both sides because I'm not sure what's going to show. I'm going to try to make a tight little rose. Let me go ahead and ink these up. So the little die cut I got off of my silhouette. It was just a large 3D flower, rose flower, and I just shrunk it down to miniature size. Could I have cut these out with a die? Sure. But dies take up space and a lot of time. And it's just easier for me, and especially when I'm mass producing stuff, to just cut the stuff out on my Silhouette or my Cricut. I was a cutting fool this weekend. I cut out card sets for 120 cards, I believe. I got a little piece there that didn't come out of my machine. I'm just going to snip that off. Go. So you guys, I find that there's so many different cardstocks out there, and you kind of don't know what to get for it to work perfect. And I like to touch and feel my cardstock, and I just find that the Recollections cardstock is the best for me anyway, for what I do. At least I know how it's going to behave when I get ready to cut on my Silhouette, because there's nothing worse than cutting something on your Silhouette or your Cricut and it's tearing up your paper and you're not understanding the why, and it's because of the way the paper was made. Oftentimes I'm cutting and I'm like, oh my god, this didn't happen to me when I was using my Michaels cardstock. And you have to sit there and try to figure out a good cut formula, and it takes twice as long, 3 times as long. Ain't nobody got time for that. Okay. So let me get this out here. All right, so I got that colored. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to give these flowers a little bit of dimension. And I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to make a little rose. So I'm going to start with kind of pushing the petals in towards the middle. Try to get it as tight as possible. Because what I'm going to try to do is glue all these little pieces together like a rosebud, like so. And then put another couple of layers on it. So the first one I made nice and tight. This one's not going to be very tight, but I'm still going to make a cup out of it. And then this one's going to go in here. It's already taking shape. Look how cute that is. And I think I want the last one to kind of brush out. So what I'm going to do is go in the back. I'm going to cup it. And then I'm going to turn it over and press in the middle, and then go out this way. And that will go here like this. That's really cute. So I'm going to go ahead and get these other ones done, and then I'll come back and start gluing. Okay, I'm going to be using my glue press from My Sweet Petunia. I absolutely love this thing, and if you see my other videos, I probably keep repeating myself over and over and over. That's how much I love it. Anyway, let me get all this white paint off my fingers. All right, so my tight little buds right here. I'm going to start off by trying to glue the little tiny petals together. Just going to put a little bit of glue on the edge of one petal, and then get that one as close as possible. Now you can, if you want to, put a bead or something in there, but I ain't got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. So, okay. So For this one, I'm going to go ahead and put the little glue on the edges of this little petal and squeeze as tight as I can towards the center. I am going to hold it in place. And then this one is kind of already tight, so I'm going to get the edges on that. Now, I find that to do this, the best kind of glue, obviously, is the art glitter glue. That one dries up super fast, and it stays put. No matter what you do, it is going to stay put. You can't take it off with undo, so once you have that down, you better be sure that's where you want it, because it's not going to come up. Now, I think this one, I actually put the art glitter, not art glitter glue. This one's got barely art glue in there. Now, this one's just as good. Now, what I find with the barely art glue is that it is just as strong as the art glitter glue, but it has a couple of more seconds of wiggle room. So that's why I like to use this for some things. But those are my go-to glues. All right, now that that's done, I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of glue here at the bottom of this one. This is my little cup. And I'm going to put this little one inside there. I probably should be using some tweezers because this is getting a little bit too tight to hold. There's that. And then I'm going to take my little final layer. I'm going to go ahead and put the glue in the center. Oops. Turn it upside down. I'm going to go ahead and set that in there. Cute, 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 cute. And I'm just going to hold it all together. I'm going to go ahead and do the rest of them off camera, and then we'll come back. All right, for my background, I'm going to use this one. It looks kind of gothic. This is by Technique Junkies. It's called Carved Relief. I've not used it before, so let's see what it will do. I'm going to be using this white, Glacier White pigment ink pad, which I seldom use. I'm just hoping it's going to do what I want to do. Kind of. I think this is a little dried out. Like the whole ink pad trying to come off. This is what I hate about buying supplies. If I don't use them, they just go bad. So I probably had this for a few years. And I'm just going to press my paper into the stamp. Hopefully it'll pick up something. Yay, perfect. That's what I wanted. All right, let me wipe this off. All I'm going to do now is do a few splashes on that black background. I'm going to use acrylic wash in white. Just going to put a little bit here. And I'm going to spray it with some water. I'm going to use my Distress Splatter brush. That might be too light, but let's see. Perfect. I really should be using my splatter box. I'm getting paint everywhere. Okay, I'm gonna let that dry. Alright, I think my flowers are done. So if you want to, you can sprinkle some glitter on them. All I'm going to do is just brush a little bit of glue on my finger. And just kind of wipe it a little bit on the flower. And I don't want a glittery mess, but I'm going to have a glittery mess. I'm just going to see if I can dip my flower in there instead of pulling out all my tools. That's good. Let those dry. This back over there. Alright, I'm still waiting for that gouache to dry. So let me go ahead and get started with this. I'm just going to go ahead and lay my mat down. Right there. I'll make sure that I have this the right way because I'm always mess that up. Oh my gosh. Okay, like this one this way. That almost looks like a chandelier. Anyway, I bought it because it was shabby and it was a black and white, which is something I don't have. And I can definitely reuse this paper. Okay. And then we're going to put down the red one. So here's the red one. Now, if you want to, you can 3D it by adding foam tape to the back. But I'm going to put this doily in first, right here. So let me go ahead and get my glue on my doily. And then I'm going to put down some piece of, I found a piece of vintage lace. Okay, let's see. I got this piece of vintage lace. That's all I have, and I still have to make a junk journal. So let me see what I have here. Let me see if this looks just as good. Yeah, that'll work. Save the vintage lace for the junk journal. So I'm just going to put Up there. All right, so now that I have that there, I feel like I need to use a piece of foam tape or some chipboard or something to raise this up. I think if I use the chipboard, it might be too heavy. And then I'm going to leave room also to insert a tiny tag back here like this. So I need to make sure that I do that. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and make a little tiny knot. This twine. And then I'm going to glue my little flowers around the edges. Oh my god, that's so cute. I'm tempted to use hot glue. That way these don't go anywhere. But let's see. I'll just be very generous with my glue. These are so cute. Love, 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 love. Okay, I don't want to mess with those too much. I'm going to put that here. So let me figure out what I'm going to do with this. I may have a few pieces of foam, like leftover foam from another project that I might be able to use to raise that up a little bit, but I don't want to do it too much. Not a whole lot of, let's see what I have in here. You know what, I'm just gonna use foam tape because it's just so much easier. All right, so I gotta make sure not to put the foam tape on this side. I don't need room for that tag to get stuck back here. I'll put foam tape right there. Okay, let's see. Works for me. Okay, and the next layer is going to be the black layer, and I think it's still a little wet. Maybe, yeah, just a little bit. And then this layer is going to go on top. love it, love it, love it. Okay, I still have to wait for that to dry a little bit. And this baby's gonna go back in here. I think that lace is gonna be in the way. I probably should have trimmed it just and put only the edges in there. That's okay. All right, so that goes there. I still want to put some tulle or some cheesecloth on this side. So, do I have tulle? Yes, I have tulle. Okay, so for the tulle, this measures about 3 inches wide and about 6 inches high. And I'm going to cheat, y'all, because I do not want to glue and I do not want to heat up my hot glue. So I'm going to try to staple it. Let me see if this will work with the staples. Okay, I'm going to fold this in half. And then I'm going to try to pleat it. And pleat it. And pleat it. And pleat it. And pleat it. So maybe if I staple it, it'll hold. It did. Yay. Okay, now I'm going to stick this back here. Let it kind of fan out a little bit right there. So I'm going to have to glue that down. We'll use that fabric tack glue. I probably should have stuck it back here, but let's see how this is going to work. That's gonna work. Okay, so I'm gonna put the big old glob of this in there. Alrighty. It's still a little wet, but I'm going to go ahead and glue it down. I could use foam tape again, but I've got one more layer to put on here, so I'm just not going to do that. And what I'll do maybe is put it in there with the 3-in-1 glue, only because the 3-in-1 glue I can use undo and peel it off without damaging anything. So if I change my mind of where that goes, then I can do that. So just thinking ahead. I love it, love it. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take these straws. That's what she's got in her picture. It looks like straws. And I'm going to kind of pinch them a little bit. And I'm going to go ahead and staple them, y'all. Just going to go ahead and staple them, and then I'll wrap them around. Wrap some tulle around them. Not tulle, twine. Oh, this is a booger. Just to pinch them together. Okay, then I'm going to take my twine. I'm going to tie around it, make a little bow. The twine will cover up the little staple. I guess I could have hot glued them. That probably would have been better. But like I said, I don't want to take out my hot glue gun right now. It takes too long to heat up, and I want to get this done. I'm whining, y'all. Yep, I'm whining. No whining. Super cute. Thank you so much, Kitten Clatter, for posting that. I know you posted it a couple of years ago or a few years ago, but I always wanted to make that. All right, well, this is going to go here, and then the card will be done. Isn't that cute? Okay, that's one card down. I got to start the other one. So, let's see. I'm going to heat up my glue gun, my hot glue gun, and let it sit over there while I work on this other card. That way I'm not having to wait on it to do anything. Okay, on this next card, super quick and easy. I've already cut this one up with a die cut. I'm just going to glue that, mount it. If you want to ink, you can. I'm not going to. This is my black mat. It's going to go on my card. I'm going to distress that a little bit. Make sure my card's going in the right direction. Like it is. And we have this mat. You can grunge it up a little bit if you want to. I mean, I can make it look as shabby grungy as I did with that other one by doing the same steps with the distressing and the inking. But this card, I wanted to make it a little bit of a clean card. Just make sure you can see the black mat through there. All right, the next thing I'm going to put down is going to be, let's see what I have here. It's going to be a piece of, we have this piece of cardboard, and all we're going to do, cardstock. I'm just going to cut the edges. You can cut it with a ruler, a distress ruler, and I'm going to do the other side as well. I can barely see this side, so I'm just going to distress this side a little bit. Okay, this is going to go here. Okay, and you might want to tear the edges off a little bit too, just in case they're peeking through on the side of your card. Or if you have a deco cutter, you can use that too. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and set that there. Okay, then you have this piece of muslin we're going to put there. I'm going to use my 3-in-1 for that. And this is thin muslin, so I'm going to kind of not put it out there too thick. Okay, then I'm going to put my spider web. This one got all chewed up on the machine, so I'm going to go ahead and just use hide the part that's not going to show. I'll hide the part that is going to show. My bad. I'm still working on my coffee, y'all. Okay, that looks kind of cute actually. It looks distressed a little bit. All right, I'm going to put this up to here or so. So I'm going to just go ahead and put glue on half of it. Pardon my dogs. I think they're a little bored right now. Okay. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put foam tape on this piece here. It's going to go up a little high. Oops. That's going to show. This is going to be sitting up high, so don't put your foam tape all the way up to the top of her head. So the next piece that we're going to put down here is actually going to be a piece of junk, because I was cutting out another card on my silhouette, and when I was cutting that card out, I saved the leftover pieces because I thought there would be cute texture for a junk journal. So I have these little pieces here that was left over from that cut. It almost looks like the little bottom of a spiral notebook. So all I'm going to do is just kind of make it as thin as possible, get it really close to the edge, and make it look a little bit torn, like it actually got pulled out of a spiral notebook. And I'm going to glue that at the very bottom of the mat. So I don't think I'm going to go all the way across. I'm just going to go here. There we go. And then I have this cute little bow, just from leftover junk journals that I did last year. And then I have a sentiment that I thought was really cute because my friend gave these to me in a bag, and I'm thinking, you know what, those would be cute for my cards. So thank you, Teresa. They came in handy. I'm just going to use this as the sentiment on the inside. Now, if you want, you can matte that. If you want, you can glitter that. But they're all going to be different. Right, so then I've got this little booger here. I'm going to go ahead and put that on at the bottom and then hold it in place with a large clip until it dries. And I think I want to add a little bit of bling to it. I'm just going to see what I have in my stash. You know what? She's kind of heavy on that side. Let's see. I guess either side would work. I'm going to put that down. I'm going to see what kind of sequins I have, or maybe some Nouveau drops. All right, so I didn't feel like pulling out the sequins, so I'm just going to put a couple of these little, I'm not sure that the color is going to be right. I probably need a little bit of a blue. Well, the color of in her hair, she did have a little bit of purple, but it didn't print as loud as I had it on the actual image. So either way, it's cute. So voila, that one's done. I think that is all I have for today. Let me see if I had that other card. I thought this was the one I did. originally. So we've got that card, and we've got this card, and this card. All right, so that's all I have for today. As always, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Show me some love. And until next time, happy crafting.